This is Iowa. And here, we don't just dream of a better tomorrow, of a smarter way to do business or live, of perseverance and progress. We inspire it in others. We challenge the conventional, reimagine what it means to be better, and then dare ourselves to make it great. This is Iowa. And here, we don't just dream, we make history.
Iowa pig farmers care. Learn more at iowapork.org.
All you have to do, you just have to get their feet here on the pavement and be. Being in Des Moines, you just get it through the experience.
I'm a fan of a lot of our fast, casual cuisine.
A little theater, some great restaurants.
There's a lot going on musically.
If you can't find things to do in Des Moines,
you must be boring.
This is a magical place.
All you have to do.
It has become something of a lost art, remembering someone's face. Remembering a name. They're the building blocks of a strong, caring community. Can you think of anything else more important than that? We can't.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau's seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
It's time now for the Iowa Girls State Basketball Tournament on the Central Iowa Sports Network. From the smallest towns to the biggest cities, watch the Iowa girl compete for the title of state champion. CISN.TV's coverage of the state tournament is presented by Mid-American Energy, Schottenkirk Chevy of Waukee, Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottlers. Also brought to you by the Iowa Pork Producers, Shields, Fairway Foods, Buena Vista University, the Better Business Bureau. Now let's go courtside at Wells Fargo Arena in downtown Des Moines for state tournament basketball.
Well, it's a great day for girls basketball in the state of Iowa, Paul.
Well, so you make this tournament, let's just discuss the tournament first. It is just, I'm going to call it this week the greatest show. And you put, it turns into a show. Why?
Well, it's about the kids and the girls. You know, we start out with 450 teams and we get down to 40, and then really we get down to one girl. And we want her experience at this place to be something that she'll remember the rest of her life.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside.
'27, Iowa's had girls basketball state tournament. No other state in the country has done that. So when you connect where you are now with your past, you have a little appreciation for how important it's been to the state.
And you look at those pictures, Gene, it is, I remember sitting in vets and seeing.
Going to class, you take that bet with me every year. So we'll see. And, you know, the 5A's playing first. Coaches wanted it. They don't like sitting around till Wednesday. They want to get out of the gate.
So we'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're also making a change when it comes to, so that means 5A, 4A will finish Friday night.
Correct.
But Saturday moves up an hour as well.
Yes. We went, instead of 4, 6, and 8, we went 3, 5, 7. Those are our smaller classes. They tend to be further away. They get them here, keep them here, and then they get home earlier.
Yeah, well, you think of somebody like, say, a Turkey Valley the last couple of years. They would play that early game, and they could still get home tonight.
Yes.
Except they didn't make the tournament this year. Bad example. But you've got IGHSAU, or you've got some of these other schools that are further, and if they would make the title game.
Yes, Lamar's, Council Bluffs. And so we just want to take away all the hurdles anybody has to have to come to the state tournament.
You mentioned one other thing, a hurdle. One thing that you don't have is you have the opportunity to watch the games. You can see any game from anywhere at any time.
Correct. Online.
For free.
Yes, for free. And then, of course, the championships are statewide on Iowa Public Television. They have been a great partner with us. CISN has been a great partner with us for our championships. And so we hear from the grandma who wants to watch her daughter and can't get here. And so that's important to us too. Broadens our audience and gets us to people who maybe can't come.
We know people that watch, they might not, they just want something on in the office, and all of a sudden they go, that's a really good game, I want to keep watching. And that's also part of the marketing and branding throughout the week and creating some of the hype about it.
Yep. And if we can create some hype and we can get people back to watching girls basketball, maybe they'll go to a girls basketball game in their community. Next year, maybe they will connect to a player. You know, for girls athletics, it's about supporting a girl, supporting a team. And so they get very attached to the players. We've seen that for years. Lynn Lorenzen, Jan Jensen, Denise Long, Ellie Ruffridge. Could we go on and on?
Well, we're going to see who will be some of those next stars. We've got a couple of them coming up yet today. Dar Danielson and I will be around in just a moment to break down some of those big games, some of those players to watch. We don't know who Miss Iowa basketball will be. There's a good chance we'll see her this week here.
There's a lot of candidates, a lot of great scorers. All games today, you will see great individual players. And you'll see great teams. That's the other trademark of girls basketball in Iowa, is great teams that play together.
All right. Well, we like it when you play with us and help us out and get us on the air and get us a nice seat here. We appreciate that and everything you've done.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
All right,
good luck.
Thank you so much, Gene. Good luck to you as well. That's Gene Berger, the executive director here of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. We'll step away, and Dar Danielson and I will continue the pregame show here on the web and break down the games today and the rest of the week. Back in a moment.
Building a strong community doesn't happen overnight. It takes a vision for the future, the ability to turn a challenge into a success, and individuals who inspire new generations of growth. Greater Des Moines has done a lot of growing over the years, and so have we. At Brick Gentry Law, your success is something that we create together. Thank you for making us a part of your community. Thank you for 50 years. Building a strong community doesn't happen overnight. It takes a vision for the future.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community. You want to get stronger.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
The small schools and then the large schools. And you look at 5A, all 8 teams are back that were here last year.
It feels like 2017 all over again.
And it's the first time that's happened since they went to 5A. So it's going to be interesting. And I think one of the big question marks might be West Des Moines Valley, which didn't have the season they had last year, but they're back in. They had some injuries and some other issues, but you know, they're back here to defend, and that's all you look for.
Well, Valley beat Centennial to get here on Tuesday night. They almost didn't have that game because we had that ice storm. Quite a few teams had to wait out an extra day, including Johnston that we'll see. They were one of those that had to wait, and it just really kind of felt like a big delay. So we have 5A today, Dar. That'll feature Waukee and Johnston. That's our tip-off game at 10 o'clock. Valley and Iowa City, City High. City High #1 in 5A. Ashley Jones is the big star of that team, one of those candidates for Miss Iowa basketball. Then you have Iowa City West, Dowling Catholic. That game tips at 1:30. Then at 3:15, Indianola and Cedar Falls. You have all 3 Iowa City schools because Regina qualifies in 2A. This could be, Dar, the year 5A, the crown finally leaves Central Iowa.
It might be, in Iowa City High coming in at #1. Last year they got beat, in the quarterfinal round. And so, yeah, this could be the year it flips. It's alternated since, Southeast Polk, then Dowling, then Centennial, then Waukee, and then Valley last year. So we'll see what happens with that.
Well, that's you've seen a lot of Johnston and Waukee and Valley basketball as of I, and it's City High, though, that Ashley Jones is just a real special player, and I think that's maybe she seems to have elevated her game just a little bit from last year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because we have 2 of those. We have Jones and then we have Caitlin Clark for Dowling, and they lead the bulk in scoring for both teams, so it'll be interesting to see how teams defend them, if they try to stop them, or they, because that poses a issue there, because if the team stays close, Jones and Caitlin Clark can heat up in the end and pull you back into ball games. Yeah. So, the other teams have a little better spread of balance of scoring all throughout.
Well, and you'll get a chance to break down with Coach Tracy Daly in just a moment. We have 2 other games real quickly before we take a break and you bring in Tracy. We have 3 more in 4A today. That is Boone and Center Point Urbana, Fairfield against #1 Marion, Mason City and Grinnell finish out our games tonight. Mason City knows a lot of these big schools because they play in that CIML, so they have played some very good competition.
Yeah, and Boone, Marion, Grinnell, and Lewis Central all back from last year's tournament, and 4 newbies in. Well, Center Point moves up from 3A, so they were here last year, but they move up a class. So, yeah, half of the new class here in 4A.
Well, and 4A is, I think, one of the more talented athletic classes that we'll see, and we'll find out as they take the court. I think Tracy Daly is coming up next. We'll step aside here. This is the pregame show tip-off coming your way at 10 o'clock here on CISN.TV.
I need to look at the camera.
Welcome back to Wells Fargo Arena here as we get ready for basketball tournament 2018. Dar Danielson with you, and joining me is Tracy Daly, the head coach of Southeast Polk. And I know you'd rather have a seat over there, not next to me, but your team is one of those that shows how close this 5A field is and how tight it is. You guys are right in there, just maybe a low-scoring stretch in your game here to get to state that was the difference between you being here and coaching in the tournament, huh?
Right, yeah, I think we had maybe 3 or 4 minutes all year, and it happened to be the last 3 or 4 minutes of our season. But we had 6 overtime games all year, and you know, I think the CIML especially just battles it out every night, so it could be anybody's draw.
This change to having 5A, the big schools, go first, does that matter much as far as your preparation? And that used to be you waited until like Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you just got to be ready to play when it's your turn.
A couple of things I want to ask you about is Iowa City High and Dowling Catholic both have a player that's one of their top scorers, scores the bulk of their points, while the other's a little more balanced. Do you do anything special for those type, like Caitlin Clark or a Jones? Or, you know, when you prepare for that to face them, how do you handle that?
Yeah, I think some people don't. I think some people just play them straight up. I know our team especially, that's one of our big signatures is that we game plan for most of the teams that we play. And, you know, when we played Dowling, we specifically game planned for Caitlin and we watched hours of film trying to figure out a way to at least limit her touches. You know, we beat them in double overtime, so we didn't do a great job. She had 39, but I think you definitely have to keep an eye on where they're at and, you know, game plan for them specifically just because they're so good.
As you look at the field, anybody that stands out that has any kind of particular edge that you see at this point?
You know, it's interesting. I haven't seen Cedar Falls since last summer, but the one thing that stands out to me about them is their balanced scoring. They have 13, 11, 10, and 9, I think, in terms of their scoring. So I think it's tough to guard 5 people. When you focus on one, you can kind of add a couple people to it. So that one I'm curious about just to see how they play.
As a coach, you get down here, and all these teams have been here before. It's the same field, but it's a state tournament. There's a little nerves. There's a lot of, you know, more pomp and circumstance and changes to the thing. How do you deal with that in the early minutes of it? I mean, you know, say you come out and you get down 8-0 or 10-0. You want to call a timeout, or you trust in your team to kind of work through that, or what's the philosophy on that?
I think you play it by ear, and I think every team's different. But I think you definitely, you know, we typically try to call a few sets just to get them thinking about what they're doing and not about everything else that's going on around them. But I think if you get down early, you probably want to call a timeout pretty quick, just because the floor is different, the scenery's different. You know, it's a big stage.
And it always seems like there's different players too, that whether it be a senior or that point guard that takes over and kind of pulls the team too, and that's always important on these teams, isn't it, to have one of those players that says, okay, come on, follow me, we're going to get through this rough patch and move ahead, isn't it?
Right, it is interesting. And the one interesting thing about a lot of the leading scorers now is that they're young. You don't have there's not a lot of senior point guards that are leading. You know, Jones is probably the oldest, but you've got a lot of, you know, freshmen, sophomores that are leading their team. So that'll be interesting.
When in preparation, let's talk a little bit more about that for the state tournament. Obviously, some of these teams have played each other, like these two. If you haven't played a team, is that just film work and looking at what they've done and that kind of thing as you get prepared?
Yeah, I think just watching a ton of film. You know, we prepare a lot. A lot of teams just prepare for what they do and they go out and play. Our team specifically prepares a lot, watches a lot of film, and you know, tries to figure out what's the best way to beat somebody. Try to knock down their top 2 things they do well, and then focus on having them beat you with their 3rd and 4th.
Then as the game progresses, as you're coaching, you make mental notes for halftime adjustments or things like that? What do you do as a coach when you're sitting there watching it play out?
Yeah, well, that's where it gets crazy. I think you try to make adjustments in the heat of the moment, but then obviously when you go back after the game, you see things you could have done differently. But I think you rely on your staff and assign jobs to people and have them watch certain things and just kind of feel the game and see how it's going if there needs to be adjustments.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to put you on the line and have you make a prediction because you play these other teams, but right. I think you'd probably tell me it's kind of anybody's ballgame in a way, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, it is. I mean, there's been 1 to 2 point games with most of these teams, and like I said, Cedar Falls is the one that I'm curious about just because of their balanced scoring, because they look like they're more like a team. And they don't have a standout. So it'll be interesting.
All right, this is Tracy Daly, the coach of Southeast Polk. Appreciate you joining us here on the pregame show. We're going to wrap up the pregame show, and we'll come back. Paul Yeager and Jackie Sapp will have play-by-play of our first 5A quarterfinal here on CISN.TV.
price event. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. New 18 Silverado Double Cab 4x4 All-Star Edition. Power price. $99 per month lease. $99 per month. New 18 Silverado Crew Cab 4x4 All-Star Edition. $219 per month lease. 18 Equinox. $199 per month lease. New 18 Cruise LTs. $18,790. Hurry in for best selection. The Power Price event. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Miss your hometown clothing store? The one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us. Or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing. 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing. Your size, your style, we've got it all.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it. Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros.
Iowa Pig Farmers Care. Learn more at iowapork.org.
Welcome back inside Wells Fargo Arena. Paul Yeager and Jackie Sapp as we get you ready. We're still making early game adjustments, Jackie. Sometimes you have to do that before you start playing a game.
I see that. You're over there messing with the microphone.
As always, I can't, and I know one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to turn you up just a little bit.
That
All right,
sounds good.
Welcome courtside, and this first one, Johnston against Waukee. These are two teams that have played each other this season, very familiar with each other, and at the state tournament, anything can happen.
Yes, it can. And when they played regular season, it really could have been anybody's game. Waukee had a lead, a sizable lead, and Johnston came and ran a full court press, caused some turnovers, and it was a 1-point win for Johnston. So it's hard to say. Waukee has been here 10 times, and Chris Guess has been here 12 times the state tournament, so this is nothing new to him. Johnston's their 4th consecutive year that they've been at the state tournament, runners-up in 2016. So, and Waukee won it in 2015. So we've got two teams that are familiar with the surroundings.
And the thing about it is, that shouldn't be that nerve factor, shouldn't be a fact, but it's still going to be because you are still playing at the state tournament.
Right. And Waukee's got some freshmen that have never been here before, and it's one thing to sit in the stands and watch, it's another thing to actually be on the floor. So nerves will play a part.
Well, and you know, and that's what makes it fun, because you see who responds best in a pressure situation. This is a good, we talk about athletics being a life skill. This is one of those life skills. You're going to have to perform under pressure at some point in your life.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
All right, it's time to meet some of these players, and we're going to meet super fans and introductions and things like that. So we will take the feed from the in-house, and so you're going to be able to see what's happening on just like if you're inside the arena.
Waukee Warriors and the number 4 seed, the Johnston Dragons. Fans, at this time, the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and the Iowa Farm Bureau would like to recognize the outstanding sportsmanship shown by Waukee High School and Johnston High School. In recognition of the importance of good sportsmanship, each state qualifying school was asked to nominate a spectator who represents their school and community in a sportsmanlike manner. Karen Brown of the IGHSAU will present each nominee with a certificate of recognition and a $250 check payable to their school's scholarship fund. Please join us in honoring these individuals whose decorum and respect for others serves as a model for all spectators attending interscholastic events.
So it showed a shot.
From Waukee High School, Pat Emmons. And from Johnston High School, Tammy Nelson. Fans, it's now time to introduce the players in today's quarterfinal matchup. First of all, here are your non-starters and assistant coaches for the number 5 seed, the Waukee Warriors. Number 4, Molly Young. Number 10, Kate Dinnebeer. Number 14, Peyton Kelderman. Number 32, Ashley Cassaway. Number 34, Megan Ernie. Number 42, Taryn Reitzma. And number 50, Kat Moody. Your assistant coaches, Sherry Guess, Dustin Alveen, and Keisha Brown. Now here are your non-starters and assistant coaches for the Johnston Dragons. Number 4, Kayla Frickenstein. Number 10, Brooke McKee. Number 12, Audrey McCombs. Number 20, Cassie Peach. Number 22, Natalie Curry. Number 30, Kendall Mead. And number 32, Emma Hudson. Your assistant coaches, Mark Hine, Brad Buchan, Rob Newton, Christine Wolford. And now, here are your starters. For Waukee, number 2, Lindsay Kelderman. For Johnston, number 2, Maya McDermott. For the Warriors, number 20, Anna Brown. And for the Dragons, number 24, Macy Thompson. For Waukee, number 24, Jory Neiman. And for Johnston, number 34, Jenna Johnston. For the Warriors, number 44, Peyton Rao. And for the Dragons, number 40, Maddie Mock. And for Waukee, number 52, Lexi Bowles. And for Johnston, number 42, Reagan Nessai. Head coach for Waukee, Chris Guess. And for Johnston, Chad Gillick. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the scores bench, our officials for today's game. Mr. Todd Thompson, Mr. Kurt Walderbach, and Mr. Benjamin Hauge. Welcome, Johnston and Waukee, to the 2018 Iowa Girls State Tournament. Fans, we ask at this time that you please rise and move your cap as we honor the United States of America with the singing of our national anthem, being performed today by the Cam Girls Trio, Anna Stork, Mariah Murphy, and Madeline Lund, our national anthem.
Through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we were.
It's time for high school basketball state champion style as we get ready to figure out who will be the state champion here in Class 5A, 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A. We've got it all covered for you here on CISN.TV. Game number 1 of 35 this week begins in seconds. It's Johnston and Waukee. Paul Yeager alongside Jackie Sapp and Jackie, keys to the game. If you are Waukee, how do you win this game?
I think you've got to go inside with the ball. Also, I think you've got to be patient. Another thing, too, is be ready for a full court press. So, again, you got to take care of the ball. For Johnston, they need to also pound the ball inside because you've got Reagan Nischheim, who is averaging 12 points a game, and I think she could be a key factor. She's been looking better and better as times are going on.
So that's Waukee. So if you're Johnston, you talk about Nischheim, you also think Maya McDermott's got to get in the mix as
exactly.
well.
And I haven't forgotten her. She's averaging 19 points a game, and I tell you, she is amazing. I can't believe some of the shots that she makes, but I know she's worked really hard in the gym, and they go as she goes. So if she's playing well, then Johnston will play together as a unit. So and when they run, they're more effective. And I know the kids like to run.
And the kids are here from Waukee. They're here from Johnston. It looks like we've got the Snow Peas from Waukee. They are sitting behind us. On the opposite side is Johnston. Johnston in all white. Maya McDermott, Macy Thompson, Jenna Johnson, and Maddie Mock for the Warriors. They'll be wearing their black road uniforms trimmed in purple. Lindsay Kellerman, Anna Brown, Jory Neiman, Peyton Rao, and Lexi Bowles. We are ready for basketball just as soon as we get the go-ahead from the Union. We don't start before 10. Normally that first 1A game, you're coming from far away. Here this morning, these two teams basically taking the same track to get here from the west.
Instead of going to school, they came to the well.
And they're going to find out what it's like to play at 10 a.m. I know that Johnson was talking about a breakfast somewhere around 6:30, 7 o'clock this morning. You're used to going to school. You're used to paying attention in your class at this time.
Right.
But playing basketball is a whole other thing.
Well, another thing, too, is you're not used to playing. When you play at 10 in the morning, are you ready? I was thinking about that on my way down here. I can't imagine playing at 10 o'clock in the morning. But here they go. They're ready for the tip.
The Warriors, 19-4, ranked 6th in the state. Johnston, number 4 and 20-3. Their head coach is Chad Gillick. Chris Guess for the Waukee Warriors. Nischheim and Bowles will tip it off. Nischheim tips it to McDermott, and we're underway. Johnston has it on early on the right side. In their white uniforms, that is Macy Thompson. Nischheim fakes left, goes right. She's blocked by Bowles. And it's Peyton Rao who helps corral it. Now Waukee pushes right to left. Driving block already by Nischheim, so we're tied at 1 block apiece for each team.
I think if you notice on Waukee defensively, they're not guarding Macy Thompson. She's not really that much of a threat.
Inside and 1. Lexi Bowles scores the game's first bucket, and Nischheim is going to be whistled for the foul.
Nischheim's had a tendency in the past to be foul prone. I think she's done a much better job this year. So hopefully that's the only one she picks up here in the first half.
The free throw is good by Bowles, and it's a 3-0 lead.
Again, as you watch, they're playing more of a sagging defense, and they're protecting the inside.
Thompson looks and drives just a little bit.
I think Waukee's saying, you know what, you beat us from the outside. We're going to protect the middle.
Nischheim drives, scoops, no good.
That was a nice move, though.
And Maddie Mock was also playing good defense. You forget how tall Maddie Mock is until you see her up close.
I know.
That's a good 1-2 combo on down low. And now tying it up is Nischheim. No, that's a steal. That's not tied up for a
jump ball.
Jump ball, I'll get it out, don't worry. Corner 3 on the way, good!
It's a good way to start, make them come out on them.
Jenna Johnson for 3. Tied at 3. Bowles with it. Now off to Brown. Brown's a really good player, gotta watch her. Inside to Rao. Slapped away, there's gonna be a whistle.
Johnston's doubling anything that goes inside, so when the ball goes in the post, no matter where she turns, she's turning right into a double team, which may cause some problems if you're not used to that.
Kendall Need comes in, replaces Mock, who now leaves the game with 2 fouls. Earlier on, I'd said it was on Nessheim, but that was on Mock. Rao with atop the key, and we're going to have another whistle, and it's going to be on Waukee.
I think she pushed off as she was making her cut. Kendall Need Kendall Need is a nice athlete. She's raw. She hasn't played a lot. You know, she comes in. She started one game, comes in off the bench, but she is an athlete.
She's got, we call that the long arm. She's a good defender with that. She'll shoot the 3 off the front to the back. Down it goes.
Got the shooter's roll.
Need gives the Dragons a 6-3 lead. Their first lead of the game. Waukee with it now. That's Kelderman, the freshman. Inside, Rao, turnaround 2 is good.
Got a mismatch.
Oh, that was Bowles.
This is a pretty fast-paced game. I mean, they're not walking the ball off the floor. They're pushing it.
Nessheim drives, splits, blocked. Lexi Bowles gets her hand on that one. It'll go out of bounds and stay Johnston basketball. 6-5, Johnston leads early on. The front shot is there,
nice
picked up, rebound, put in by Kendall Need.
There she goes, the athleticism.
She has 5.
You know, and some players do a better job coming off the bench. They're not as nervous. And that may be the case in her.
Need to McDermott, up ahead on the transition. Up ahead, Thompson thought about it and then pulls it out. McDermott finds underneath Nessheim for 2. And all of a sudden, it's a 5-point lead and a travel by Waukee. Anna Brown took 1 too many steps.
Johnston's really coming down and they're passing the ball and they're getting the defense to move, and then they're hitting the weak side and they're getting an opening for their shot. So their ball movement has been excellent.
Maya McDermott with it now. Over to Jenna Johnson. Kind of looking for that pick and roll a little bit. Nessheim now pulls it back out. McDermott stops the 15-footer. In and out, no good. Tipped right back to Thompson. McDermott for 3. No good. 2 Johnston players were fighting, but it was Waukee who comes up with it. That's Kelderman. They have Brown trailing. Oh, nice move. Gets McDermott. Brown in and out.
Not enough arch. Nice fake, though.
How'd that thing not go down? McDermott drives the point. Johnson thought about the 3. Look for a good shot to get a better one. That's a great shot. Off the mark, rebound, Brown. To Neiman, Jory Neiman with it now. Neiman's one of those players Coach Chris Guest told me earlier this season. He goes, if there aren't teams recruiting her, I don't know what they're looking at because she does everything. Inside Rao and 1.
I don't know, that probably could have gone either way, but I'm sure she used her hip on her. I tell you what, this is back and forth, back and forth.
These 2 teams played earlier this season.
And both teams seem comfortable with playing more of an up-tempo game.
Coming in now will be Kat Moody. She'll replace Lexi Bowles. Bowles is a freshman. Kelderman's a freshman. There's 2 Keldermans. We'll probably see the other one in a moment. And then there's another freshman not playing for Waukee.
Katie Denver.
And she might be the best one.
Yep.
Had the knee injury earlier this season. Both free throws missed, and it'll stay a 5-point lead. So Waukee is certainly set up for a good run in the future. They don't want the future. They just as soon do it now.
They have no upperclassmen. Johnston has 1. Both teams are primed for next year.
Reagan Nessheim sets her feet, shoots the shot. That's 4 in a row for her. She now gives her team a 7-point lead. Anna Brown drives. Nice move. Nice give and go to Moody. Blocked away. Brown for 3. That one goes. Hannah Brown.
She can shoot inside. She can shoot outside.
Shot off the mark as we approach the 3-minute mark here in the first quarter. Kelderman on the wing, guarded by McDermott. Gets away from the screen. The shot won't go. Kendall Need the rebound. She's got a couple of rebounds this game in her time off the bench. Need loses the handle of it. Waukee makes him pay. That's Neiman. Kicks out to Kelderman. 3 off the mark. Weak side rebound by Macy Thompson.
I think some of these threes that we're seeing missed is the fact that you're shooting against nothing. That's different than, you know, regular gym that you play. Because there's a lot of threes that have been put up that just aren't falling.
And we're going to get a foul whistled on Jenna Johnson on the underneath, as it was 2 Waukee players, both Neiman and Rao going in for it.
Substitutions.
Coming back into the ball game, Lexi Bowles.
For Johnston, number 10. Brooke McKee, number 32.
And Brooke McKee comes in for the Dragons. 12-8, Johnston by 4 early on first quarter. These teams, neither one of them showing much in the way of nerves.
Not at all. They're very comfortable with the environment.
Pass is tipped away. Nessheim got in there, and then McKee handles it. Back to McDermott. Maya, the floater, won't go. That was all but down. Rebound by Jory Neiman. Kick out Kelderman for 3. Eventually, one of these are going to go, and Kat Moody is going to be whistled for the foul. She got out of position.
They've got good spin. It's just right on the rim, on the front of the rim. It's just more legs and get a little more arch, and they're going to fall for them. Either team, either team.
Johnston with it now, up by 4, 90 seconds to play first quarter. This is game number 1. We're starting with the 5As this year. And they are off to a good start if you come in here. Nessheim underneath. 3, McKee. Yes!
Little bank shot there.
Banker's hours work.
She had a big old smile after that one.
That's a huge momentum when you come off the bench and you get that first one to go. Brown, nice shot in transition. Short. Off of Moody's hands.
Substitution for Waukee, 34, Megan Ernie. 44.
I think at this pace, if they continue this pace, they're going to have to use their bench because they're really going up and down. There's no walking the ball up. And so with that and the length of the floor, of course, our 5A schools are used to playing on a longer court.
15-8, Johnston up by 7. Nice drive to the hole, shot no good. Rebound, gets her own board. Does Johnson, but Waukee comes up with it. 35 seconds, Waukee's gonna push it. Thought about the 3. Kelderman takes the shot, off the mark. Tied up, and it'll stay Waukee basketball, which means Johnston will get it. Thank you, Jason Esslinger from the Girls Union, getting us set up here. So now I can tell you a little bit more of what's happening statistically. I keep my own books. But now I can tell you percentages. I don't do math on the fly, Jackie. Inside,
you didn't
nice
learn that
look.
in high school, come on.
I didn't. Peyton Rao for 2.
See, now
nice look.
This is big because they score here, then they get the ball back to start the second quarter. I don't think sometimes people look at that. Maybe that shot might have been a little too soon.
McDermott gets 2 with 6 seconds. 5, 3, driving, tipped away, Neiman. They won't get a shot off. McDermott will heave it, and it won't count. Some of the Waukee fans thought just a little bit maybe, but we've played 1 quarter. Johnston 17, Waukee 10. This is state tournament basketball.
This is Iowa, and here we don't just dream, we make history by nearly doubling our clean energy as part of our 100% renewable vision. With this, our energy costs will remain some of the lowest in the nation. We'll create new jobs and boost economic growth. Our air will be cleaner, our state stronger. And together, we'll advance this country's energy future forever. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service. This is Iowa.
The value of staying active cannot be overlooked in our lives or our young athletes. However, high-intensity workouts come with the risk of injury. If you or your child have sustained a sports injury, Select Physical Therapy in conjunction with Iowa Ortho are here to help with 2 convenient walk-in locations.
From diagnosis through recovery, you'll be put directly into the hands of experts who will evaluate and treat your sports-related injury.
Call us today for an evaluation.
The pep bands are here. The fans are here. Jackie, you and I are here.
I know, that's amazing, isn't it?
Sitting courtside. It's a pretty fun view, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The best seat in the house.
And we've seen pretty much run up and down here in this first quarter.
It's been fast-paced, up and down, up and down. Like I said earlier, they're really going to have to use their benches or something's going to change in the second half. And hopefully, you know, they got 1 quarter under their belt. Their shots will fall, a little more legs, a little more arch. But both teams have had good looks.
Johnston gets the basketball back. McDermott, who scored the last 2 for Johnston in the first quarter, runs the offense again. Driving is Johnson. The lefty won't go. The tip up, and that's going to be a foul on, that's going to be on Mock, and that's going to be number 3. So just as soon as she comes in, she goes back out. So Maddie Mock with 3, and she'll go back to the bench.
You know, Kendall D came off the bench, and she's leading the scoring for Johnston, 5 points.
Johnston by 7 early on. Waukee just struggling to get shots to fall. They're getting good looks. They just, as soon as they start falling, tip away. Maya McDermott, that pass is telegraphed. She goes coast to coast, lays it in for 2.
Left hand on the left side. You got to like that. Sometimes you don't see that.
You just forget how quick she is. A great soccer player, McDermott. Basketball is just as good. Nessheim ties it up. They are letting Nessheim. She is going to she is really tying up with Rao, and so far the officials are letting that play and not calling a foul.
Exactly. She picked up that one quick, and I was worried she, would have another one by now, but she's been smart.
Neiman with the basketball for Waukee in their black jerseys with white numbers, purple stripes. So you see the top of the keys. You get a look at our in-house view from up top. That is just behind us, that camera angle. We're sitting right in front of it. Occasionally you'll see us. We'll try to wave to the folks back in Jessup who might be watching today. Nessheim saves it right to Rao, then Johnson tips it away.
That could have been disastrous. She always say never save the ball underneath the opponent's basket. That's 101 coaching, the first thing you tell kids.
But you're trying to make a hustle play,
yes,
and you're trying to help your team as best you can. It's hard to say no to something like that.
Reaction, just reaction.
Yep. In it goes to Waukee here, and that's Anna Brown. Had a chance to see Brown play against Dowling earlier this season. She just had an outstanding game that night against a good team. Inside Bowles, shot is blocked by Nessheim. She was straight up the whole time,
yes,
and then
was.
Johnson will take it up for the Dragons. Reagan on the left block, kicks it out, McDermott, 3.
On that, Nessheim has improved so much. She's so much more composed, much more confident.
It's a nice little run by the Dragons, and it's all led by Maya McDermott. She has 7. She's on a 7-0 run herself. We're back in a moment. Back here, courtside, inside Wells Fargo Arena. State basketball, Class 5A. This is a quarterfinal. This is game number 1. 7-0 run for Maya McDermott.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier, or just before we had break, that she had 7 points. Another thing about her from last year to this year is she's playing so much more composed, not turn the ball over, not trying to do too much, and that's just a year. I mean, she's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
And last year she tried to do too many things, and she's playing more within herself. Smart defense, smart offense.
And just a year more of experience at this level.
Exactly.
You can play AAU basketball, but it's just so different making that jump to varsity. From the corner, Neiman shot no good. Kelderman was in position, and then she goes down, and she was helped to the ground by Johnston.
You mentioned AAU basketball. You're playing with kids or young ladies that are the same ability level. When you go back and play with your high school team, you play with different ability levels, and that makes a difference. It makes a huge difference on how you get everybody involved in the game. That was a nice banker there.
Ernie the three, and that ends the 7-0 run by the Dragons. Driving underneath, and tipped out by Waukee, so it'll stay Johnston basketball. Waukee down by 9. The lead was 12 for Johnston. Nessheim, who'll be going to South Dakota State next year. McDermott, the floater from the right side, gets it to go.
No, 2 years.
In 2 years, yeah, when she goes. I'll get her grade right, too. Her mom will have my hide if I don't get that right.
I think you might be right.
And a foul underneath, back on the other side.
That ball goes inside, and boy, they all collapse. And that's been a key. Another key is going to be free throws, and I believe she's 1 for 1. Am I right? 1 for 2, I mean.
Yeah, Waukee 1 of 3 so far. They've just not been effective from the free throw line.
0 for 2.
Yeah, she missed both of those on that last foul. Missed them badly. That one goes in. That one looked much better. Felt much better off her hand, it looked like, as Rao hits the free throw, and now it's a 10-point lead. Rao on that left side. Won't go. Nessheim the rebound. McDermott gets it, and she is already moving forward when she gets the basketball.
She's got her eyes up, man. She's looking down the floor, trying to see who's open.
McDermott wide open in the corner. Off the mark. Brown had it and then tipped out. I think that was Hodzik. Yep, that was Alma Hodzik, who had come into the game at the last horn. And Rao will go out. Bowles comes back in. Actually, I say Bowles was already in the game, so Ernie goes out. Ernie hit that 3.
I think Coach Guest's not real happy with his substitution, his sub not telling who she's in for.
It's a bigger gym. You have to work on communication a lot more. Brown for 3. That's short. And then it goes off McKee's hand.
Another thing I've noticed, both teams are doing a lot of screening, and there's not talking, which can make a difference. People are getting screened off, not staying with their girl or fighting over the top. Both teams have been poor at talking with one another.
Brown has it. Now Neiman. Not even looking for that shot. They're looking down low, trying to establish something. They're doing some high screens. Neiman will drive, and she'll pull the trigger, and it won't go. Rebound Johnston by McKee. McDermott. She'll go 1-on-2, and 1!
That's one of those shots, and she's so small. How does she make that shot?
That was highlight worthy. Maya McDermott. She'll get a chance for the and 1. Misses the free throw. McDermott, and normally rock solid 83.3% free throw shooter, not on that opportunity. Inside Bowles. High and then through. Back to a 10-point advantage for the Dragons. Driving, Nessheim. A little too much spin. Need came through. That was a late call. Yeah, I think she came swatting in real heavy and made contact on the arm.
Number 30 for Johnston. Kendall Mead.
We're in a 1-on-1.
Waukee's in the bonus. Peyton Rao will shoot one.
So now Peyton Rao will go to the line with the clock stopped at 3:44. A chance to cut into this 10-point lead, and this time she hits.
We've got Johnston with 17 fouls, and we have Waukee only with 3 fouls, period. So.
And an official, some people will question officials about why such a discrepancy. And an official will tell you because your team is fouling more than the other team.
Right, and it depends on whether you're going at the defense to cause fouling. And sometimes because your team's scrappier, that's also going to be another. Now we got a full court press, a 2-2-1, which Maya just blew right through.
And she almost got the heave shot. The officials talking here, and our crew today is Todd Thompson, Kurt Walderbach, and Benjamin Haug.
Called it on the floor before the shot.
And there is no continuation in high school girls basketball. McDermott gets the give, and she'll get it back. She'll just drive, and Bowles rejects that one soundly. Waukee down 8, make it 5, just like that. Kelderman for 3, her first 3 of the game, first points of the game. And now a foul on the other end.
That was an aggressive foul, trying to go for the ball.
So the lead, that's the closest it's been since early on in this first quarter. Johnson has it back within, or Waukee has it back within 5. Johnson drives. Nessheim resets it. They go back in and out. Nessheim trying to do the post move. That one's a little too far off the left. The putback no good. Fighting for it is McKee, but Bull says that is mine. Waukee with it. They've got the lead down to 5. They can get all the way to 2. As McDermott falls down, Coach Gillick says she had help. McDermott bounces right back up. And now Johnston with it. She falls again. Loses handle of it, and now Waukee has the basketball. Brown for NBA range. Oh, wow. Timeout, Johnston. Woo, that was huge. That was a big swing of events. Johnston by 2 when we come back.
Iowa Pig Farmers Care. Learn more at iowapork.org.
Johnston had a lead of 10 points that is all of a sudden down to 2. Actually, their lead was 11, Jackie.
Yes, it was.
And we talk about one Kelderman, Lindsay, but it's been Peyton that's made the difference here lately for Waukee.
When she came into the game, it was a huge momentum swing. And also, they ran their press with the 2 up front, 2 Kelderman sisters.
And now Johnston throws it away. McDermott, she was expecting Hodzik to go a little further. And now Waukee can take the lead. They've hit back-to-back threes. Brown, who hit that one from about the exact same spot the last time. They were looking for the give and go.
They're going to work for the good shot now. They've got 2 minutes left in the half.
There's Brown on the left elbow into the corner. Neiman pulls up, shot won't go, and Johnston let that one just go. And now all of a sudden Waukee seems to want it just a little bit more. Brown gets the handoff in the middle, 8-footer, no go. Hodzik the rebound, Johnson will push. That's Jenna Johnson. Her pass is nearly stolen by Neiman. And now Johnson drives, and she's going to be fouled before she got close to the basket.
So is that on the floor? Yep,
I think
on
so.
The floor.
Yep. So Brown picks up the foul. And that's Brown's second foul. Coming up at halftime, we'll talk with Brad Rose, Activities Director at Valley High School. Valley plays in the game after us, Valley and City High. So you've got your defending champion and a team who's #1 this year in Class 5A. A little insight from Brad. Hodzik for 3!
I was just probably going to say no, but man, she was ready with that one.
So that gets the lead back up to 5. That was a sorely needed shot for Johnston. That ends quite a run.
Nice driving basket, Anna Brown.
Brown gets the 2, and then almost the press works again. Nessheim pulls up, McDermott.
You got a mismatch down inside.
3 from McKee. Off the front, gets her own rebound. Somehow she slipped right in there.
Inside position, nobody was even boxing her out.
Now all of a sudden it's back to a 5-point advantage. Throw up prayer, no good. 31-26, Johnson drives. She'll be fouled before. So now all of a sudden, Johnson they hadn't necessarily pulled off the accelerator when Waukee made the run. They just weren't quite as aggressive that they have been here in the last 2 or 3 possessions.
I don't think they were ready for it, one. Another thing, too, is McDermott can dribble right through that press. She's just that good a ball handler. And Johnson's going back there attacking the basket. They drove the basket. They can't stay with them.
Jenna Johnson hits the first free throw. She'll get another one. Johnson on the season, a 78% free throw shooter, hits a pair. And the lead's back to 7. 5.7 seconds to go here before half.
Johnson's going to pick him up man-to-man full court.
And Brown, you just don't want to get a foul from there. 3-point look from Kelderman! It was on line.
It was the bottom of the net.
Bottom of the net, just unfortunately didn't go through the iron. Oh boy, we've played one half of basketball. It's Johnston 33, Waukee 26. That's a great first half. And we'll take a look at some of the statistics here, and we'll have our conversation with head coach or athletic director Brad Rose. Real quick look at points. Anna Brown for Waukee has 8, Peyton Rao has 7, Lexi Bowles 5, Megan Ernie 3, Lindsay Kellerman for 3 for Waukee, which has 26 points. Johnston led by 11 from Maya McDermott. 5 from Jenna Johnson, Brooke McKee, Kendall Need, Reagan Nessheim with 4, and Alma Hosdick with 3.
Each team turnovers, they're under 10. Turnovers 6 for Waukee, 4 for Johnston. And let's see, free throw shooting, Johnston 2 for 3, and Waukee 4 for 7. And then we have field goal percentage shooting, 33% for Waukee and 40% for Johnston. And both teams have put up a lot of 3, 33% for Waukee and 45% for Johnston.
All right, we'll come back in a moment. Brad Rose joins us when we come back. It's halftime. It is Johnston leading Waukee 33-26.
It has become something of a lost art. Remembering someone's face. Remembering a name.
Hey, boss.
Hey, how you doing?
You're on that camera when we come back, so I put it so you can just stare into it.
Like that?
Just stare into it with your dreamy eyes.
Gotcha.
That's all you really
Yeah.
have to do.
Oh, what a half.
Oh, yeah.
Told Kerry Justin, the principal, I said, you're a long way from being over. They were down 10. I was like, Chris Guess will get them going. You watch. And then Johnson kind of survived that run a little bit.
You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Welcome back at halftime. Look at this handsome fella. This is Brad Rose. Is that a fresh cut?
Yeah, well, not much to cut.
A lot of people get cuts. Dar Danielson, when you see him a little bit later today, he has a state tournament cut. So it's like coaches are kind of routine people.
Yeah, my hairline's the same as the Waukee principal, Kerry Justman, who I was lucky enough to coach back in the day, and he's down there too. We both got the same hairline.
This is a game, if you're sitting there with Waukee, you're kind of like, we're out of this one, but all of a sudden you turn the press on and anything's possible.
Yeah, I mean, when I got here, there was a 10-point deficit, and I was talking to those guys. They're a little down about maybe the girls weren't ready. And I said, that's Chris Guest's team. They'll find a way. And sure enough, boom, the next thing you know, it was almost tied. And then Johnston's so athletic too. They're both such good teams. And then Johnston got back to what they do well, and that's attack the basket. Both of them just attack the basket so well, but they both play great defense. So it's really a fun game to watch.
Oh, and Johnston, Maya McDermott, you see her in soccer, she's so good. And she had a great freshman campaign, and then all of a sudden, her basketball, she was good last year. She has elevated her game this season.
I agree. I agree, and they both do such a good job of sharing the ball. They find who's got the mismatch, and that's kind of what I thought. Waukee took some bad shots early, and then even the shots they missed there towards the end of the half, those were good shots though, inside of the paint. That's what you want, and if you make them, you're going to be fine. If you don't, then it's a long day. But early they were kind of forcing shots, so I think it'd be interesting to see if we press this whole second half or not.
All right, I saw you Tuesday night on the north side of Ankeny. You were at Centennial. No school that day. You had to go through that whole rigmarole of can we play, can we not? We want to get this because we know we play Monday. You come out with that win. I talked to Coach Segrist after the game, and he says, hey, all the pressure was on Centennial. It wasn't on us. Do you think that same thing translates to today? All the pressure is on City High?
I think that's a great philosophy, but I think when you're the defending state champs and you're in the finals 2 years in a row, I think the girls put a lot of pressure on themselves to, be as good as they've been in the past. And I don't think you can ever underestimate chemistry, especially in girls athletics. People having a role, and I think our team's starting to find that role. Before it was like, one girl could score 30, another girl could score 30. They all each could score. We were out without Honnold. Everybody kept talking about when Alex Honnold comes back. Well, the fact is she's just not healthy with her legs right now, and we got to give her time to just heal. She's a Division I softball player. She's probably close to Division I basketball player.
I was just going to say the same thing.
You just got to do what you do. And I think once they realized, hey, she's probably not going to be able to help us, let's find our role. And we got a couple young girls trying to play inside. That gets magnified. I saw that at Centennial, and that was just, we couldn't have played any better than we did against Centennial. And they did not shoot very well. And I used to coach in Ankeny. Anytime you beat a Scott DeYoung team, you've done something.
Well, and he tried everything DeYoung did against Segrist. I think with Zoe Young, you've seen her play way more than I have, but I've seen her enough to know when she tries to do too much, it hurts the team. But in the second half, she helped everybody else in that first half. The second half, though, she came to play. She did what needed to do, but she played within her game, which is an outstanding game.
She can take over a game. There's no doubt about it. But when you don't have the other parts going, then it's easy to concentrate on her. Last year in the finals, she took over because we had so many other weapons. Well, Grace Plummer hit 3 threes in the second half last week against Centennial, and that really opened up Zoe to be able to drive and do those things. We're going to have those other girls shoot well, or at least be a threat, because otherwise, teams can pretty much prepare for two scorers.
Yeah.
And Grace is up to that challenge, and she's put a lot of work in. I think she's in any of those girls. Actually, Halverson had her best game, and she's not really known for an offensive girl, but she just did a great job on defense, and then got a few turnover points. And that's just going to be the key for us. We can score with anybody, but we also it's just going to be an interesting matchup.
Well, Shea Fuller played in that shadow of her sister Hannah, was so good. I think Shea has now finally started to be comfortable in her game and seems to be, she knows teams are coming for her.
Yeah, and the thing that's so effective about her is she can hit a three from 5 feet behind the line, or she can take you off the dribble right or left-handed. So that really gives us a weapon. So it'd be interesting to see if people go man or they go zone on us. I'd like to I'd like to keep it close, the first half, and then see how experience plays into it. I mean, City High is a legendary program as well, so they're not going to be afraid. But I do think playing on this floor the last 3 years should help our girls that have been there.
Ashley Jones is one of those players that you're going to have that Valley has to get ready for. I don't know if anybody can really get ready to defend her.
I think you just try to contain her. I don't think you sell out. I don't know. I'm not as experienced a basketball coach as the guys down here, but I think if you sell out just for her, they're ready for that. They wouldn't be undefeated if they haven't had that whole box and one and triangles and twos thrown at them. But, it'll be about rebounding. For us, we have to rebound. We're not as big as everybody else, so we have to team rebound. That's what we did against Centennial, because they're so good inside. And we just, the rebounds went our way, and that's what allowed us to win the game.
All right, so you're here on Monday, which means I won't see you again if you would win until Thursday. What do you think of that?
That's awesome. Our boys play tomorrow night, another rematch with Hoover. So we're really looking forward to finishing up the basketball year here before spring break. So hopefully they can play well tomorrow night, and Valley can get back down here next week.
Well, you put together those teams. Both of your basketball coaches. The records might not be it, but when it comes time, you're there when it counts.
Yeah, they'd have a knack of getting down here, so hopefully we don't jinx that and just play well. All we want to do is play well.
All right, Brad Rose, thank you so much. Enjoy the second half and enjoy the next game.
Yeah, I'll tell you, people need to come down or watch online, because there's some good basketball going on right now.
We got a good one now. The second half of Johnston and Waukee coming up right after this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job. Great coverage.
It has become something of a lost art. Remembering someone's face. Remembering a name. They're the building blocks of a strong, caring community. Can you think of anything else more important than that? We can't.
I opened the Hearing Clinic to offer patients and their families a positive healthcare experience. If you have trouble hearing clearly at church, at the movies, watching TV, or with your friends and family in a group conversation, what are you waiting for? In less than half an hour, we can give you peace of mind and answer any questions that you may have. Call us today to schedule your appointment. The Hearing Clinic, 515-440-3323. We listen, you hear.
Cars on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Miss your hometown clothing store? The one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us. Or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing, your size, your style, we've got it all.
Class 5A quarterfinal. I'm announcing my presence with authority, Jackie.
I know, you kind of woke me up.
Woo, goodness, I'll dial that back just a moment. Jackie Sapp, Paul Yeager here at halftime of a very good Waukee and Johnston game. This was down to a point earlier this season, and Johnston is, when you look at it, they're basically 5 points from being undefeated. They lose 1 point to Dowling, 3 points to Dowling, and 1 point to Southeast Polk. Waukee, on the other hand, it's not much difference for them. They lost by 10 to Centennial, and then they lost to them by 2, 1 to Johnston, and then 5 to Dowling in an overtime game earlier this season. So they've been in every game. Both of these teams have been in every game. So right now, if you're Johnston and you're up 7, what do you say here to start the third quarter?
Well, they need to make sure they take care of the ball, because when Waukee came out and pressed them, they kind of lost their composure, their presence. That's one thing. Another thing, too, is on screens. They need to make sure they're talking on screens when they're playing defense, you know, so that way they don't get screened off and they give the wide open shot, which they allowed Waukee to do that.
Waukee shooting 33% in this first half, Johnston 40%. So eventually those shots are going to fall, aren't they?
Most definitely. The legs, you know, they're all short. They've got good spin on the ball. They're just not. They just need a little more oomph to it. Hopefully both teams ate breakfast today, because that would help. One thing Waukee needs to do a little bit more is once the ball goes inside, Johnston's clapping, so they need to do a little more inside, outside, reverse the ball, and I think then Waukee will get some better looks.
Well, there's a look at Maddie Mock. We haven't seen her really at all in this this game. She had 2 quick fouls, and now she got a third, and so inside they go to Mock, so she's out of the rhythm a little bit as we begin half number 2, and that shot won't go right away for Johnston. Underway, third quarter. Johnston up 33-26. Paul Yeager and Jackie Sapp here in this Class 5A quarterfinal game on CISN.TV. We'll have all the games in the quarterfinal and semifinal game here on the site. And then Friday night, we go over to IPTV, and they'll be streamed on there, or statewide television coverage here in Iowa. Waukee in their black. Nice move by Neiman, and there were 3 Johnston players there for the rebound. Going up ahead, coast to coast, the left-hander won't go for Thompson, but there for the putback is Reagan Nessheim. And now Reagan has 6. And the lead's back to 9. Inside, and the foul.
Basket's good by Peyton Rao.
Peyton Rao.
She was way underneath that basket. I'm surprised it fell.
Fouls on 42, Reagan Nessheim. At the line, shooting 1, Peyton Rao.
So Rao, who's been to the line a lot this game. In fact, nobody else has been to the line as much as she has. She hits the free throw to make it a 6-point lead. Johnston, it was Johnson with the basketball. McDermott, the floater on the right side, good!
You know, she is fading away from the basket and has the presence still to make that shot. That's a tough shot for anybody. I don't care whether it's guys or gals.
She's not looking to shoot the ball all the time, but when she does shoot, you really want to see where it goes, because it's got a mind of its own. That's the, what do they call it? The shooter's touch. Neiman, nice look to Bowles. Bowles was falling forward. She lost her balance. McDermott on the out end of the outlet. Up and no good as she's fouled by Lindsay Kelderman. That would have really done wonders for Johnston, but Waukee catches a break there. And McDermott, 83.3% from the free throw line, averaging 19 points a game. She's 0 for 2 now on her free throws as Coach Chad Gillick just shakes his head.
She looks like she's fallen away from her shot instead of staying in it with her legs. Much better.
Second one is good. The lead back to 9. McDermott now with 14. Stolen away by the Dragons. Mock was running the point. Probably not advisable.
No.
Coach Guest says just slow it down. 3 from Anna Brown. Yes! Oh, wow! Anna Brown!
They needed that.
Huge bucket. Brown is not going to be denied. She has hit some clutch shots this game. Inside backdoor. Oh! Thompson had it for a moment. Maddie Mock for 3. She answers. Mock's got to get up to her 10 points a contest, and she gets a third of them right there with a 3. Now all of a sudden, a little bit of scoring as we get these two teams who average around 66 to 63 points a game. Bowles tries to put the post move on. Kelderman, floater, no good. Thompson the rebound. Macy with it. Now back to McDermott at the top. 3 from McDermott, no good. Rebound, Johnson had a hand on it, and it comes out to Nessheim. Maddie Mock again for 3. No good. Rebound, Anna Brown. Not only can she score, she pulls him down. Jump stop, pass, back inside. Bowles tipped away, Nessheim. Fighting for it is Neiman. Kellerman has it. Inside, Bowles had position, and then Mock stepped in front. Thompson tipped away, and it'll go out of bounds. Good hustle by Jory Neiman right here in front of us.
Waukee looks tired. They're not on defense. They're not moving their feet. They're not dropping up to cover the weak side. They just look like they're a step slower. As I watched the last couple times they came down the floor, he got his 2 post players out, which may make a difference because they look flat-footed.
He's been relying on a lot. We have not seen much of Kat Moody, who is now into the ball game. Coach feels that Bowles is a better matchup. Mock on the drop step, puts the block. Nessheim there on the weak side, the lefty, and fouled. The foul will be called. I think they're going to get Megan Ernie for that one.
He's going with a smaller lineup, quicker lineup.
So Reagan, the junior, misses that first free throw. If there is an Achilles heel for this Johnston team, Jackie, I would have to say it is free throw shooting.
Yes.
Kind of been an issue the last couple of seasons for them.
They were like early was like 60-some%, and I just don't understand. They're not the only team that was shooting in the 60s. That should be a given. Either that or maybe I expect too much.
Well, I think we discussed this last year a little bit too about the shooting. The focus is not on shooting; it's the whole complete game. Nice move by Brown, and she was on the line trying to save it, and it'll go back towards Johnston.
You know, we have not mentioned this is the 99th year of the Iowa Girls State Basketball Tournament.
And if you think there's been a party atmosphere around it in the last couple of years, I can't imagine what 100 is going to be like.
I'm thinking how many I've seen in my lifetime. I'm probably older than you are.
Nessheim for 2. Oh, we don't have to necessarily say that, but
I thought about that this morning. I thought, oh my gosh, I've seen quite a few.
Now the lead is 12. That's the biggest of the game for the Dragons. And now Waukee's got to figure out a flow of an offense.
They're not using their screens for one thing. They're setting them, and they seem like they're a little unorganized, maybe a little bit.
And Johnson is really in the pocket of Anna Brown, and that's the one you need to get into the flow. Find a way to get her the basketball. Moody, 6-footer, good! Nice shot, Kat Moody, turn around on the block. This champion shot putter. And now Johnston has the basketball, under 3 minutes to play, third quarter. Maddie Mock, touch pass, or touch shot won't go. Three-pointer on the way, no good for Jenna Johnson, and Waukee gets it back. Anna Brown, Moody clears the way for her. Brown fights it, and somehow the Dragons have it. Nessheim and McDermott. Reagan will lay it in, fouled, and she'll go to shoot for the three-point play.
You know, she handles the ball really well in open court. Lots of times when you see somebody that just plays in the post position, you don't think of them of having those skills. But in college, she may not play that. You know, she's not extremely tall. She's just the right size. She may play more out away from the basket.
She hits the free throw. Lead is now the biggest of the game at 13. Waukee needs to score on this possession. Ernie, 3-ball. Got it! Oh, what a shot! Timeout, Waukee. That was huge.
You called that one.
Coach Guest talks it over. We'll let you watch these important commercial messages.
And here, we don't just dream, we make history by nearly doubling our clean energy as part of our 100% renewable vision. With this, our energy costs will remain some of the lowest in the nation. we'll create new jobs and boost economic growth. Our air will be cleaner, our state stronger, and together we'll advance this country's energy future forever. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service. This is Iowa, and
here you just have to get their feet here on the pavement and be. Being in Des Moines, you just get it through the experience.
I'm a fan of a lot of our fast, casual cuisine.
A little theater, some great restaurants.
There's a lot going on musically.
If you can't find things to do in Des Moines,
you must be boring.
This is a magical place.
All you have.
Timeout by Waukee after hitting a big three by Ernie. Megan Ernie, the freshman. You know, Peyton Kelderman, Megan Ernie, Lexi Bowles, Lindsay Kelderman, plus one on the bench. That's a great freshman class. Nessheim, the layup, that was picture perfect. I don't think the ball touched the floor once.
It didn't. That's what you want to. That's what you want to have happen.
Biggest lead now for Johnston at 15 with 1:50 to play, third quarter. Nessheim now all of a sudden up to 13. Neiman gets a nice move to the hole. Shot won't go, tipped around. Camp Moody kicks it out. Three ball on the way. No good as the shot by Molly Young couldn't fall. And the Dragons come up with the rebound. Up ahead, Kendall Need. She had it for a moment. If she could have dunked it, she would have. Need 6-footer baseline. Net.
Pretty shot.
Need now with 7. Turnover again.
No, missed shot.
Missed shot, sorry. I was thinking turnovers, we wanted to talk about them. 8-5 in turnovers, Waukee. So it's fairly close on that category. I know that's one thing you were looking at.
And even three-point shooting now is even.
You think Maya McDermott's feeling it?
Yeah.
3 ball there. McDermott now with 17. It's a 20-point lead, just like that. Underneath, shot won't go. Waukee fouled by Johnston. I don't know if they're going to get Need. No, I think they're getting Nessheim, 42.
You know, these are some things you've got to think about when you go into the fourth quarter. Obviously, if Johnston wins, they're going to be playing another game. So do you sub more? Do you slow the ball down? I mean, obviously, they've been at a running pace, you know. And sometimes I think as a coach, it's a gut feeling of what you're going to do. If they're up 20 and they could slow it down and be patient, that might be to their advantage, you know. If they turn it over, then you might want to go back to your running game. But I think you got to think about just not this game if the game's already out of hand.
Well, with this change in schedule this year, traditionally 5A would play on Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. This year it's Monday, Wednesday,
Friday.
I'm sorry, Monday, Thursday, Friday. You still have to do the back-to-back games. Maybe that's something you think about in a semifinal, but in a quarterfinal, this is a standard turnaround on these games when it comes to getting your legs back.
True.
But you're right, it is something to think about. As Rao hits 1 of 2. Actually, she hits them both, sorry.
You know, the stakes are just much bigger than, you know, a regular season game. And so those are, you know, those are things that I think in a coach's mind they've got to think about. And, you know, you can't rule out, I'm not ruling out Waukee, but they're going to have to play extremely tough defense. He's got to pull some tricks out of his pocket.
And soon. Now maybe Johnston will slow it down. Now part of the pace, the way it accelerated, is when you had the press.
Exactly.
And Johnston now will just be more deliberate on their possessions. They're already spreading it out right now. McDermott fakes the 3. She drives the floater, somehow gets past Lexi Bowles, lays it out with 6 seconds to play in the quarter. Jory Neiman drives, shoot to Bowles underneath, and 1! But the last thing you wanted if you're Johnston, and Coach Gillick turns around right now and says to the bench, that's the last. I think he said that's the last thing I want. I think he said the exact same thing I did. So I don't know if that's good or bad if I'm saying the same thing as a coach.
You know, McDermott has 17. We still have one more quarter to go.
As Bowles hits the 3-and-1. And that'll end the fourth quarter, or the third quarter. We go to the fourth. 56-42. Impressive run by the Dragons. Quarter number 4 when we come back.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship. Who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, raise the money, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game, Shields.
The Des Moines area is starting to buy trucks at Schottenkirk Ford Indianola. Up to $13,000 off MSRP. Select new 17 Ford F-150s. And up to $8,500 off MSRP. Select new 17 Super Duties. Schottenkirk Ford, the truck stop. Up to $13,000 off select new F-150s. Schottenkirk Ford Indianola. The truck stops here. SchottenkirkFord.com. The Des Moines.
We have 8 minutes to play before we have our first semifinalist of the tournament. Will it be Waukee or will it be Johnston? Right now, Johnston in the driver's seat, up 56-42. The lead is 14.
It's going to be a big quarter for Waukee. They're going to have to expend a lot of energy to get back in this.
Now, Waukee, remember, went on a 10-0 run in that second quarter, got it back within 2, and we're close to tying the game. It is possible. Oh, nice backdoor move to Bowles, but Nessheim was there on the defense, and Need will get the turnover. Jenna Johnson with the basketball, and coming with it now, Nessheim's shot is no good. Mock fights for it. Loose ball tipped away. Now it's Kelderman. Oh,
that was close.
That was very close, and almost Bowles the rebound. Gets it. Bowles now with 12.
Johnson not slowing up any there.
Three from the corner, no good by Kelderman. Rebound, Maddie Mock. Nessheim just spins the dribble. Lead is 12 for the Dragons. No time to take off. They're going to have to keep that foot on the gas. Three-pointer in the corner. Good! Jenna Johnson.
Jenna Johnson for 3.
And a foul underneath.
You can just feel the momentum change.
Checking in for Waukee, number 44, Peyton Brown.
Waukee fans, they have a pretty good contingent here behind us, Jackie.
Yeah, I noticed that earlier.
And Johnson has quite a few here. Inside, pass is denied. That was just good deny defense by Nessheim. Trying to keep it away from Peyton Rao. And Rao, one of the veterans of the team, is a junior. You've got Neiman, Brown, and Rao as a good junior core. There's one of those juniors. Shot won't go. Kelderman and Mock fight for it. Alternating possession arrow will go in favor of the Dragons.
You know, it's amazing when you're behind and you're pressing and your fan base. It's a little more excited.
McDermott, the floater. Now with 21 for Maya McDermott. The lead is 17. Underneath, Brown fights, tipped over. And that was just kind of an inadvertent whistle or foul.
That could have been a no call. It's just people didn't have their balance.
Brown was just trying to get out of the way, and it just happened to be when they were switching possessions.
We had a full court press here, so looks like it's man-to-man.
Pass and go, Johnson with it. She'll go coast to coast and lay it in.
When you press, you've got to stop the ball, like in the backcourt. You can't allow that to happen. Nice save. But
now Waukee. Seconds are precious. Brown drives. The left-handed shot won't go. Mock gets it up ahead. Maya McDermott. She'll lay it in again. Maya McDermott on a 4-0 run. Timeout, Waukee. Wow, just like that, the lead is 21. Back after this on CISN.
Iowa Pig Farmers Care. Learn more at iowapork.org.
The pep bands are here. We'll have pep bands all day. Always fun to hear them. Great contingent. Great, actually, two very good music schools as well. Both Waukee and Johnston, both with great marching bands and show choirs, and not too bad of basketball teams either.
Fine arts and athletics.
Got to have the 1-2 combo. Reagan had it, and she was falling. Yeah, it is. You want students involved in various activities. Had a chance to see both show choirs, the freshmen this weekend over at the Southeast Polk Invitational, and both just incredible performances by both of these schools and their show choir.
I'm impressed with your knowledge of all this.
Helps having nieces that are in some of these groups.
That's probably true.
For now. All right, Johnston with the basketball. Approaching 5 minutes to go in the ball game. Up 21 points. Too tall of a pass off of Johnston, and it'll go the other way back to Waukee.
That was a set play, and it just was a little too long. You know, I think this is the best I've seen Johnston play in a long time. I mean, they're on all cylinders.
Why save a bad performance for now? Why don't you save your good one for now? That's what they're doing.
Yeah, they are.
And the thing is, if Johnston would win, they would play again at 10 a.m. on Thursday. So they would have to get used to this early call, so you'd imagine they'll do the exact same thing. McDermott gets the outlet pass, lays it in. Maya McDermott now with 25 points. That's all tournament performance right there, worthy.
And she plays with no expression on her face. It's just another basket, go back on defense. Gets to the screen.
Kelderman's three-pointer is tipped. And the Dragons have it, and they break the press. McDermott thinks about the three, takes it. No good. Rebound out for Waukee with a new player in, and that's Rietzma. And Lindsay Kelderman gets the two, and she ends that run.
They have not slowed down at all. They're playing up tempo.
Johnson just dribbles right around the defense and lays it in. And now the Dragons a point short of 70. Anna Brown turnaround. Sorry. Reagan Nessheim gets called for the foul, and she's thinking of all the stuff she's done today. That's the one she gets the foul, and she thought that was probably the cleanest of the blocks.
Actually, I thought it was on Johnson because she fell, but.
Anna Brown misses the free throw. Brown held under her average. She's only got 11 points. She normally has about 16.
They've done a good job of protecting the middle.
Mock. You want to talk about a player Maddie Mock didn't play much at all in that first half, and she's come out here in the second half. She was big in helping them establish a play. And Mock then turns it over as soon as they start complimenting her. And then Brown travels.
They just got to slow down. They're just one team can kind of feel, like tight. This is it, and the other team is just let's keep going. Let's keep pounding at them.
And Waukee's going to bring now some half-court pressure. We approach the 3-minute mark now. Kendall Need. We're going to have a foul underneath Ashley Gassaway.
32 for Waukee, Ashley Gassaway.
I don't think we've had as many fouls as half as what we did in the first half. It seems
No,
like they're
you're
blowing
probably
this one.
right. Tempo's been the same.
Yes.
Frenick.
Yes.
Frenick. Jenna Johnson. Tell you what. Jenna Johnson averages 12 points a contest. She now has 11. A lot of the air out of my mouth goes talking about McDermott and Nessheim, but Jenna Johnson has been absolutely rock solid for Johnston this contest and really all season.
Right, and I tell you what, she puts a lot of time in the gym. She shoots all the time.
Neiman's shot won't go. McDermott pulls it down. Up ahead, Jenna Johnson again. And now Nessheim pulls it back out to McDermott as we're under 3.
You know, this is not a bad thing to do, to work on this.
Yeah, because there might be a time in a game you do need to pull it out. No shot clock here in Iowa. Nebraska's talking about it again. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see that, but I tell you what, I've been watching so much college basketball that earlier in the first half I was going to say, how come they're not shooting it? I'm just used to it.
Coming up next here on CISN.TV will be the next quarterfinal, and that is West Des Moines Valley and Iowa City High. Looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to all these games. Somebody asked me, who do I think is going to win? Brown gets 2 defenders to go around her and then misses the 3. Kat Moody, shot won't go. Nessheim the rebound, and we're going to stop and let some starters for both teams go to the bench.
That's great. That's nice to see. You know, when you talked about the shot clock, I'm not so sure the smaller schools could handle it. I can see, 4A and 5A, but you get to those smaller schools, you don't have as many athletes to choose from to begin with, so your pool that you're drawing from, and maybe it would work. I don't know. That's just a thought.
I'll try to get them all in here. For Johnston, Kayla Frickenstein, Cassie Petch, Natalie Kari, and Alma Hodzik all come in. Hodzik for 3. Her shot's off the mark and goes out of bounds. Let's see. Molly Young is in for Waukee. So is Peyton Kelderman. Megan Ernie stays. And Taryn Rietzma. And also in there is Ashley Gassaway, the lone senior for Waukee.
You know, this is a great opportunity for these young players to be able to, because both teams are young. I mean, Waukee's younger than Johnston, but for them to get a feel of being at the state tournament and hopefully get their names in the scorebook.
Well, this one ran away. Everything basically fell for Johnston in the second half.
Yeah, they just came out with confidence, and they weren't going to be denied.
Driving is Johnston's McCombs. As Waukee now under a minute. Driving and getting a chance to get into the scorebook will be Molly Young. So you have your defending champion Valley Tigers and your #1 in Class 5A City High waiting in the wings.
And I think probably December you weren't quite sure if Valley was even going to, I would say December, probably mid-January, if Valley was even going to be here.
I think early February you could even say.
Yes,
I mean, Valley lost 7 straight, but something about that team coalesced when it mattered.
They just got hot at the right time. Well, and Centennial, I mean, they have a veteran coach who's been here forever, so that's who they beat out to make it to the state tournament.
Driving and scoring for the Dragons, Cassie Petch.
I'll be interested to see how Cedar Falls looks, because Cedar Falls was ranked #1 to start the season, and then they got beat by Iowa City High, and then Iowa City High became #1 the rest of the season.
And it could very well could be a Cedar Falls City High final, but I'm sure some of the Central Iowa teams think they're going to have something to say about that.
Well, that's one thing. I was thinking about this. When you have, what do we have, 4 teams from Central Iowa at the state tournament, you know each other. But when you play somebody that you haven't normally played during the year, anything can happen. How do you match up? You know, how does number 1 match up against number 8 seed? That's
right. We've gone final now between Waukee and Johnston. The Dragons of Johnston win 73-48 as an impressive performance. Take a quick look. Maya McDermott, 25 points for the Dragons, 14 for both Reagan Nessheim and Jenna Johnson, 7 from Kendall Mead, 5 from Brooke McKee, 3 from Maddie Mock, and also Alma Hodzik. For the Warriors, they were led by Peyton Rao with her 12, Anna Brown close behind with 11, Lexi Bowles with 10, and then it was 6 from Megan Ernie, 5 from Lindsay Kelderman, 2 from Kat Moody, Molly Young, for a total of 48. So the Dragons finished shooting 51% as Waukee, they were 33% at the quarter, or at the half. They dropped down to 27.6. So we thought maybe those shots would fall in the second half, Jackie. They did. They never did.
It's pretty tough to be a team when they shoot that high percentage.
So now the Dragons will go home about 10 miles to Johnston, and I'm sure they'll stick around to hustle out and watch this contest. Valley 13-0 against City High 23-0 coming your way. A couple of other statistics for you just of interest. Johnston's biggest lead comes at the end of the game, 25 points, and they held that for the last 3 minutes. It really was. They outscored Waukee 17-6 in that fourth quarter.
I would have never imagined it had been this many points. I would have said it would have been much closer. And obviously Johnston, they had something to come out and prove, and they stuck to their game plan, played very well, didn't turn the ball over. They had 10 turnovers, Waukee had 11. Sometimes it seemed like Waukee had more because they were just kind of more helter-skelter in their offense. But both teams have nothing to be ashamed of.
That's right, and both teams, we finished this game pretty early, so we're going to have a little bit of time. It's only 11:14 on Monday morning. They don't start until 11:45, so we're a half hour away from that next tip. So the extended break here between games, you'll just need to come back. They don't start on early because, say it's not, if you're coming from Iowa City, they don't want you to miss a game that started 10 minutes early. You paid money to see. So it's not like track where they get ahead, stay ahead.
So that game was an hour and 15 minutes.
Hour 15 minutes.
Fast paced.
It was.
And there weren't a whole lot of fouls called. That's what you like to see, and that's what helps girls basketball when people get that kind of excitement, because that's what they want to see.
All right, so Dar Danielson and Laura Leonard will have Valley and City High, and then Iowa City West and Dowling Catholic after that. And Jackie, you come back with Brian Carlisle at 3:15 for Cedar Falls and Indianola. Again, your final score, Johnston advances. Hold on. Jackie
I just want to say it's been an honor to do the game with another Jessup alum.
That's right.
Who is the best looking, the smartest, and the funniest Jessup alum of his era.
Oh, of his era. from the 90s.
But
yeah.
I just want to say, no, seriously, Paul, it's fun to do the games with you, and it's kind of neat because we're both from the same
That's right.
hometown.
Yeah.
We went to the same church.
Yeah.
And we had the same principal.
We had the same principal, her dad. And I don't think I got in that much trouble with him. Just a little bit.
I'll find out
You'll have
tonight.
to find
He'll
out.
probably be grading you on what you did today. So
hey, once an educator, always an educator,
yes,
right?
Exactly. But thank you. I do appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and it's always great to work with you as well because, just a chance encounter, and look where we've ended up here after 2 years.
Yep.
All right, that's Jackie Sapp. I'm Paul Yeager. That'll do it for this first contest. Again, your final score, Johnston 73, Waukee 48. It's Valley and City High. When we come back, this is the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union State Basketball Tournament from Wells Fargo Arena. So long for just a while.
I don't know.
know, just the opportunities I've had, the people I've met, I couldn't have imagined a better college experience. The professor gets to know you really quickly. I know that people know who I am and that they care about me. With the opportunities I have here, I'm going to be able to succeed. Now I just feel like I can do anything. I don't know, just
we don't just dream, we make history by nearly doubling our clean energy as part of our 100% renewable vision. With this, our energy costs will remain some of the lowest in the nation. We'll create new jobs and boost economic growth. Our air will be cleaner, our state stronger, and together we'll advance this country's energy future forever. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service. This is Iowa.
Iowa pig farmers care. Learn more at iowapork.org.
You just have to get their feet here on the pavement and be. Being in Des Moines, you just get it through the experience.
I'm a fan of a lot of our fast, casual cuisine.
A little theater, some great restaurants.
There's a lot going on musically.
If you can't find things to do in Des Moines,
You must be boring.
this is a magical place.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau's seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
Power price event. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. New 18 Silverado Double Cab 4x4 All-Star Edition. Power price. $99 per month lease. $99 per month. New 18 Silverado Crew Cab 4x4 All-Star Edition. $219 per month lease. 18 Equinox. $199 per month lease. New 18 Cruise LT. $18,790. Hurry in for best selection. The Power Price Event. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Thanks for watching our live coverage of the Iowa Girls State Basketball Tournament on the Central Iowa Sports Network. You can check CISN.TV for a replay of this game. The free coverage of today's game was presented by Mid-American Energy, Schottenkirk Chevy of Waukee, Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottlers, and the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union.
And there's the travel. I expect Riley Jacobs.